Hello, world. Welcome to Americana. I'm your host, Willie Montague. Tonight, the curtain comes down, the truth they hide, the deals, the power plays, the lives being shaped without your say. We're exposing it all. It's going to be real, relevant, and definitely relational. Stay tuned. This is Americana. All right, well, coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about American culture war. Is the GOP winning or losing? Then let's talk about this U.S. foreign aid. America first, or is it a global responsibility? And then the education battle, parents versus the system, one of the biggest topics, I believe, of the century. And then later, we're going to have with us none other than Austyn Spell. He's going to help us bring it all together. He has absolutely no problem with telling it like it is. So lots coming up on this episode. Don't go anywhere. But before we start, let's get into Willie's Take. All right, everyone, you already know this is the opportunity for me to rant. America doesn't have a political crisis. We have a backbone crisis. Leaders crave applause. They fear headlines. They sell your freedom for comfort. We pretend we're strong. We pretend we're rugged, but we've grown soft, comfortable, distracted, weak. Washington isn't the problem. Hollywood isn't the problem. The media isn't the problem. The problem is simply us. We let cowards lead. We let career politicians win. We let weak men run a country once built on grit. If we don't wake up, the land of the free will fall, not from enemies abroad, but from cowardice within. And speaking about being strong, we have with us Austyn Spell, an outspoken, once a Marine, always a Marine, with us on today. Welcome to Americana.
I appreciate it, Willie. I love being on here with you. I always love to speak with you on these things that really matter to us individually and honestly for our country.
Well, let's dive into it. So we're going to be talking about the American culture war because there is definitely an American culture war. And the question really centered around it is the GOP losing this culture war? From corporate pride campaigns to drag shows and TikTok bans to controversies about the country singers. And a recent Gallup poll shows 71% of Republicans believe traditional values are under attack. But this is the question I have for you, Austyn. Is this really something we need to be fighting, or do we need to get back to the issues that matter most to the American people? Wages, housing, and health care. Because what we're seeing is that we're always seem to be just targeting just quick talking points, but people are still suffering at the tanks and groceries. So what is your thought about that?
Yeah, I fully believe that those main topics that any household, regardless of left or right side, cares about as far as those wages and daily living costs matters and is the front of mind. And I think it's being attacked, not through is the GOP losing or winning, but this is more of a conversation of this good or evil winning in the country of America right now. And we truly have a moral in our country. And as you stated earlier, we have weak leaders with no backbone leading this country that are bought out by these massive corporations. So we, as the American people and the general public, are the ones suffering from it in our households and in our wallets.
So do you think that Republicans are on the side of good? I know this may be a tough question, but do you think that Republicans overall is really on the side of good when it seems that we are just aiding and abetting? It's like we're fanning the flames of all of this culture war. So are we really about the bare necessities of the American people?
So I've said it on the show before. I'm not a one-party alignment. My alignment is with Christ alone. So if whoever is backing up the values and morals of Christ Jesus is going to be who I back. And I I do currently believe that there's more people on the right side that lean towards the good and the morals of Christian values. And I do see a lot of evil on the left side. That's not to say that either party is significantly better. I believe there's complete corruption and evil on both sides, and both sides are getting their pockets lined regardless.
Now, when you have a party or you have an administration like the Trump administration that continues to speak about how they're going to help redevelop or make America great again, and you just had a baby, and congratulations, by the way, but with that, do you feel like we have seen a change? And I know that this is only within the first year, but do you really see any difference? As someone who is a new father, do you see any difference when you go to the grocery store since President Trump has been in administration? Because if we're going to spend time talking about transgender, which I'm completely against, but we're going to spend time spending all of our tweets and all those things centered around just bashing a particular group of people. And when you go to the grocery store, have you seen any difference with diapers and baby food?
No, in all honesty, and this is coming from someone that did cast my vote for President Trump, and I'm still comfortable saying that I voted for President Trump, but I can say so far in this first year, I'm not happy, or at least impressed, with the direction that our economy has gone. There hasn't been significant change, especially here for the general public. And I do think a lot of the headlines and things that have come out of the administration so far have been more so a distraction for us, that our daily lives haven't changed.
Now with this, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I feel the same, and I don't want nobody to feel like we're targeting President Trump, but I do feel like it's so many distractions that we're really not getting anywhere. And so should the GOP continue to focus on this culture issue, or do we need to just simply just move on and start focusing on what he said he was getting elected to do, which was to make America great again?
I think that's such a good, and I think it draws on both sides. Like I stated earlier, I think a lot of the issues that we want to come about when the correct morals are actually in office, and it's not just about the money. And the headlines currently right now that are being pushed are just help those people up in those upper echelons continue to line their pockets while we suffer here at the ground level as American people. But I do genuinely believe that there does need to be a realignment up top to refocus on the statements that they made prior to the election. And now it's been a lot of headlines that have not matched up with that. And it's been very disappointing.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, this is going to be good. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Austyn, of course, you're with us. We have to take a quick commercial break. You guys out there, we'll be back still with Austyn Spell. When we come back, we're going to be breaking down U.S. foreign aid, and I'm pretty sure you want to hear this. You're watching Americana. Stay tuned. Guys, this is our quick commercial, and you are tuned in to the opportunity to put your questions, comments, whatever you have. And if you're watching Social Media World, thank you so much for tuning in and staying with us. This is indeed a great show. Now, I want you to comment in there, what do you think is happening with U.S. aid? Should we continue to give to foreign entities, or should we protect what's going on in the United States? So I want you to think about that, put in the comments, and you actually might get a response back. But meanwhile, stay tuned. We're getting ready to get back to the show. This is going to be an awesome episode, and you need to invite all your family and friends to go. And then tune in to me, Willie J. Montague, on Instagram. All right, well, welcome back. We are now getting ready to talk about something that is a serious topic to me, because I think that we've been a little bit here and there about it. And Austyn is tuned in with us. He is our guest for today here on Americana. And we're getting ready to talk about this foreign aid. In 2023, Austyn, the U.S. spent over $55 billion in foreign aid. That's including $12 billion to Ukraine and $4 billion to Israel. And the polls show that 61% of Americans believe that we need to focus on the issues that are here, that are domestic, not concerned about what's going on with foreign aid being spent back and forth over to these countries. What are your thoughts on that? Why do we continue to just send money over to other countries that actually doesn't have anything to do with us?
This is something I've stood firm on for a few years now. As you stated earlier, I am a United States Marine, and it disgusts me nowadays that I see this from a different point of view. When I was in the Marine Corps, it was great to think that we were helping the world. But now that I've grown up and really seen the events of the world, I just see that this is all money grabs. And we have people in our country that are being completely neglected. For instance, my fellow veteran community, the homeless percentage is through the roof. The VA is an absolute disaster. And these are people that have served their country. And let's even talk about, outside of that, the mental health epidemic that we have going on in the youth of America. The amount of money and aid that we could be pushing into our own country to help our veterans and to help our youth and to really truly get down to the issues of this country is just being shoveled into other countries.
So how do we wake up? Like, why, it seems like the Republican, this is why I'm bringing this together. It seems like, because right now Republicans are in charge. They have the House, they have the Senate, they have the White House, but the question remains, why is it that the credibility is being lost? Because we're cutting domestic spending, but we're still sending billions to foreign aid. Now, mind you, there are responsibilities that we have in the United States to help when it's in the interest of the United States. But do you believe that long term, because we have midterms coming up here very quick, do you believe that this is really going to hurt us? Because what can we turn back to say, hey, yeah, we helped fund those things? Instead, we see, National Guard being sent out to places like Washington, D.C., which is good to clean up the violence. But when are we going to send resources to be able to help clean up the homelessness? So do you think that we're actually losing credibility in this?
I do think there has been a loss of credibility with there not being a true focus on these things. And I'll be honest, don't know where this is about to get me into, but I would be completely remiss to not mention the fact that this is a topic that the now late Charlie Kirk was starting to bring up, and the aid that we are shoveling into Israel, and truly where Israel is at and what our government is doing in alignment with them. This is something that he just started bringing up in the previous 2 weeks prior to his assassination as a Christian martyr. And those questions are not only Judeo-Christian values, they're American values that matter. Why are we funding these countries and these issues that we have no hold in? They're not in the sorry, I apologize for my stop, but they're not in the best interest of the American people. And I view that that's something that Charlie was also targeted for.
So now I'm pretty sure you heard what Candace Owens have said, and I'm pretty sure that you've seen it. So I'll turn that, and you don't have to go in deep, but I'm going to frame this in the most beautiful way possible. Do you think that his assassination was done by outside foreign interests?
I believe a man with his gumption to question the things of this country, of the administrations, and of people in these higher positions is absolutely something to look at how he died, because he clearly was questioning the right things. And we've seen that happen in this country, how the people that question the right things all of a sudden end up dead. And it's very sad to see a man of Christ and a brother of Christ that I looked up to in his values and in the way he was able to debate and speak to others that disagreed with him be murdered in such a way. And I think there is a question of who is behind it.
So this goes back, and I'm glad you said this. So this goes back to what I'm saying here about all this foreign aid, and so many people don't like to talk about it. I remember I had to do this interview because I was, running for Congress, and as I'm running for Congress, they're asking me these questions, and I told them I don't agree with sending money, billions of dollars to Ukraine. So the guy called me and said, hey, Willie, I agree with everything that you said except that part. I think we need to continue to send money to Ukraine. And it bogs my mind how people who align with the Republican Party, who says that they are for fiscal responsibility, can continue to send this type of money when we have hit the debt ceiling. We are trillions of dollars in debt. We continue to see the clock go up. We're literally talking about $100,000 every 45 seconds of debt that we get in the United States, and yet it's still, we're sending this money. So this is what I have to bring this back to. America steps back. Do we create a power vacuum for China and Russia to exploit? I give you about 45 seconds. What do you think about that? Do you think that if we do step back, this is a fear tactic? China, Russia is going to say, oh, great, they step back, let us come in and take over. Do you think this is what we could be headed to?
I don't necessarily believe that. I think that the strength of America is still a fear of the Chinese and Russian governments. And even if we step out of some of the places that we are with our financial assistance, the knowledge that we still are the greatest and strongest military in the world strikes fear into those countries that will try and step into those places.
So I agree. I agree to the point where there is definitely some things that we need to look out for when it comes to how we handle ourselves and how we deal with China and Russia. But I would say this before we get ready to go to our next break here. I just want to mention this. I feel like we have spent so much time, again, with the culture wars, with so much aid, that I don't know if we really even know what is going to make America great again. And have we really lost that? And I like what you said. We got to get back to the foundation of Christ. And so we have to take another quick commercial break, you guys, but don't go anywhere. We still have with us Mr. Austyn Spell. But when we come back, we're getting ready to talk about one of the biggest fight of the century. It is education, parents versus the system. Don't go nowhere. This is Americana. All right. Hello again, social media world. Thank you for staying with us during this episode of Americana. We have with us, of course, you have seen Austyn Spell. Just want to tell you, you can follow me at Willie J. Montague. Make sure to follow AFRO TV. We're on every night, Monday through Friday at 6:30 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Put your comments in, your questions, and you know we love controversy over at Americana. So nothing goes unspoken about. If you have some things you want to hear us discuss, hey, by all means, let us know. And we're going to discuss it and bring it to the forefront because we're real, relevant, and relational. So stay tuned. We're getting ready to get back to the show. You are indeed watching Americana. Thank you for tuning in. All right, you guys, welcome back. We are back with Mr. Austyn Spell. And now we're getting ready to get into what I like to call one of the largest battle of the century. It is education, parents versus the system. And according to the Gallup, 36% of Americans are satisfied with K through 12th grade education. Parents are demanding more say over curriculum, from banning critical race theory to challenging sexually exploited books in school. At the same time, teachers warn that politics is choking the classroom. Now, Mr. Spell, I know that your young one is not of age to go to school, so you don't quite have this battle, but soon you're going to have this battle, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be way more politics involved in education than it is right now. So I want to do, what do we do when we have roughly 55,000 teachers? That's how the shortage is right now in the United States, where we're not having enough teachers. Do you think we need to just take a seat back with all of this getting so involved politically with education and put it back into the hands of the parents so they can make their decisions of what goes in and out of the ears of their children?
So I think what speaks volume in itself is that I have an 8.5-month-old daughter. And first off, shout out to my absolutely beautiful girl, Amelia. It's been life-changing, and I wouldn't even have the strength to be here and speak these words publicly if it wasn't for what I want to fight for her future. But it speaks volumes in the fact that she's 8 months old, and I have to sit here and have this conversation about what is her education going to be like. This isn't the time period where I should be thinking about what her education is going to look like in a few years. I should be focused on her mental and physical development. But I'm truly having to focus on what is going to be my standpoint on her education. And I will say something that a pastor of mine, Pastor Eddie Rivera of Action Church in Winter Park, said about 1.5 years ago that really stuck with me, at least being a man of faith. Am I going to take my child out of public school systems and gatekeep them? Or am I going to raise my child with Christian values so strongly that they are the change in the world and in our current system? They're the ones that are going to reach these kids that are not being taught these values.
And that's a good point. So with that, because I'm all about, private schools, home schools, but indeed we do have public schools. So the fight over books and curriculum, protecting children, but is it protecting children or is it politicizing the classrooms? Because that's something that we have to separate the two. Because when I go to some of the classrooms and I go and I mentor in the classrooms, I don't see that. I don't see what we're fighting for on the outside. So are we literally using this as another way to get clickbait, or is there really that much of an issue that's happening in the classrooms to where we have to talk about it every single year that, it's just a battle, what's going on? I give about 45 seconds. What do you think about that? Why do we keep pushing these issues and not just saying, okay, let's find out a solution?
Yeah, I do think you and I are very in a good position living in a state where I feel the education system isn't completely lost in Florida. But I do think there is some blue states where these classroom issues that we're talking about, as far as the critical race theory and the transgender movement in youth, is being pushed. And I think that those things do need to be looked at as a country, even though there is some states that aren't being directly affected by it. So it is something that we should care about, even though we're in a state, us two specifically, that it isn't necessarily impacting massively.
So I want you guys out there to think about this, and I'm so glad. Thank you so much, Austyn, for being with us. I want you guys to just think about this for a minute. What are we going to do about our education? Let that be a thought. Should we, some things, going on, we got to have it. We got to have the conversation about education because children are going to school. But that's a wrap for today's episode on Americana. You guys, thank you so much for joining with us. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, only on AFRO TV. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay Americana. We'll see you tomorrow.